Yeah, No Boundaries podcast right here with Josh Sapu. It's official. We here, first ever podcast.
Yes, sir.
Here with Good Old Boys Network. Shout out to Mario Washington, Jasmine Sullivan, and everybody over there at GOB. Thank you for holding us down. It's our first podcast ever since we did the whole Radio Free Charlotte thing. Back again. Q Kelly, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. It definitely feels like old times back again. So
Right,
I'm so
right.
happy, to be in this situation and just have fun with everybody, man, for real.
Man, it's a pleasure to be back, man. I know we got a lot of things going on. First of all, I know a lot of people like asking about the No Boundaries name.
Yep.
No Boundaries podcast. Go ahead and explain why we came up with that name, Q. Break that down for everybody that's wondering.
So basically, we was trying to come up with a concept of what we should call our podcast. And me and Josh, we known each other since, 2014, 2015. And we always love to talk. And one thing, we never try to put ourselves in confinement. We always like to talk about sports, African-American culture, music, fashion, everything. Anything you can kind of think of, we love to talk about. So we was trying to come up, what could we call our podcast that can kind of explain that? And No Boundaries is what I came up and we and Josh came up with that kind of explains what we're trying to do. So we have no boundaries of what we talk about, and that's how we rock, man. So I'm happy to have this,
Definitely. I mean, for everybody that's listening, you can catch the podcast on SoundCloud, Q Kelly SoundCloud, also Mari North SoundCloud. And for the visuals, shout out to my boy Kim G, the cameraman. You can catch it on Scope TV, Scope TV 7 on YouTube for all the visuals, all the latest with Scope TV, and of course, No Boundaries. Man, we got a packed show. First of all, it's college football Saturday. We got a special guest in the building, but we're going to save that right quick.
We're gonna hold it
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna hold it off.
We're going to hold it off right quick. But going into college football Saturday, we got a couple of big games today. Virginia Tech, Miami, NC State, Clemson. You got a couple of big games in the ACC that we got to touch on.
It's going down.
And first of all, for all the Miami fans, I know we got JD Keys, a lot of Miami fans watching. What is your take on Miami season so far?
Miami season has been an awesome thing to watch as well. It's crazy because I'm a Florida State fan. So watching Miami, grow up and have a great season where they're undefeated and they're achieving a lot of success, I'm happy for those guys, man. And Mark Richt has really turned that program around. And he only been there for a little bit, but just to see the growth and development with their players, and now to see them actually reap the benefits that they're going with, man, I'm excited for it, man.
Right, and then as far as Virginia Tech, what's your take on them? And, after the Frank Beamer era, here they are. They had a couple down seasons. They're back just like that.
I feel like recruiting in Virginia Beach, you always going to win. They got some great players out there.
757.
757, they putting it together. And now you seeing right now that Virginia Tech is a staple in the ACC, which they've always been, and they haven't missed a beat,
Haven't missed a beat at all. So as far as the ACC Coastal, since that, basically whoever wins this game is probably going to be the champs of the ACC Coastal, probably going to take it all the way to the Bank of America Stadium. Who do you have?
I got Clemson all the way. When you look at Clemson and how they're built, you can plug so many different pieces in there and it will still be successful. You would think after losing Deshaun Watson last year that it will slow down and somebody else in the Coastal will kind of take over. But with that defensive front and how those players are coached, man, and, having Dabo out there, man, I don't see them slowing up any. And I really do think they'll beat NC State today and win the ACC still. Man.
Okay, so Clemson, and then you see them in the Final Four.
Yeah,
basically
course. And, if you look at ESPN, a lot of people saying, well, they don't see an ACC team being in the Final Four, and I see it because I feel like Clemson is a top 4 team in the country right now. And with their offense efficiency and how their defense is stifling and don't let anybody get anything, I see them right now being, in the ACC, winning that and being in that Final Four this year.
I'm not going to lie. I think Clemson will win the ACC championship. I think it's going to be Clemson, Virginia Tech, and Bank of America Stadium. But truth be told, and I always say this every year, but it's true. You can't beat Bama. You won't beat Bama. Last year was a fluke.
What happened last year?
Last year was a fluke.
No, it wasn't.
I was wrong.
It was not.
It was a fluke.
It was not.
Let's be real. SEC football will always be king. Let's be real. Bama.
ACC football is overrated. First of all,
we're not gonna do this.
We can do this. The reason why I'm gonna tell you why SEC football is overrated, outside of Bama and Georgia, who has been a consistent program in the SEC to call them king?
Outside of Bama and Georgia?
Yeah.
I mean, you had years where Auburn came in and did what they did.
Consistency.
LSU.
Consistency. I don't see it. I feel like the SEC, if you look at it, is Bama and everybody else. Look at the quality of teams that they have. It's not that much quality. In the SEC East, that's a horrible, horrible division of football, if you look at it. Florida, right now, I guarantee you, Florida State will beat Florida this year. And Florida State, this is one of the worst season they've had, I believe they're going to have in 40 years.
True or false? True or false? Alabama will win the national championship this year.
True. I'm going to go with it. But at the same time, if you're talking about SEC, it's because of Alabama. Take Alabama out of the SEC, and do you think that's as a dominant conference?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Auburn, LSU.
Auburn.
I'm talking about consistently over 5 years.
Over 5 years, I don't see the SEC is not intimidating. Last year, we even had a discussion. Me and Josh always have a discussion about the SEC and ACC. And last year, I don't know the numbers. I forgot the numbers, but the ACC matchup with the SEC beat them more than what the SEC beat them. So the ACC had a better record against the SEC.
Fluke. Do you think that happened again? Honestly,
I think it could. Think about the ACC. The ACC was the best conference in college football last year. Had the best quarterbacks and arguably the best defenses as well.
But at the end of the day, we know that Bama's going to win the national championship. That's SEC.
You said the same thing last year. But this year, I do think Bama will win it because I feel like the only team in the country that had a good chance, in my opinion, is Florida State. And we blew it. You know what I'm saying? We lost our quarterback. You know, we lost our mojo. We lost the swag that we had at Florida State. And just those losses have taken a toll on our program as well. And if you look at that game in the beginning of the season against Florida State and Bama, we were right there with them. And at the same time, they made a little bit more plays than what we did at the end of the game, and Francois got hurt. But other than that game, has Bama had a close game?
No, not at all.
Exactly. So
not
we
at
were
all.
the best team that had the best shot of beating them, and they took care of us. So if you look at it, there's no other team, I believe, that can hang with Bama as well.
And if it is, it's coming out of Bank of America Stadium with Clemson. But speaking of Bank of America Stadium, this week we was all rattled. Everybody was rattled. Now, I know I ruffled a lot of feathers in the studio, with ESPN Charlotte, because I actually took a different approach than everybody else did, learning about the KB trade. But before we get into that, this is why I want to bring our guest on right now. We're talking about founder and editor-in-chief of Carolina Blitz.
Yes, sir.
Covering sports and entertainment across the Carolinas.
Mm-hmm.
And as she says, part-time tomboy, full-time woman. Whew. Miss Vashti Hurt.
Thanks, guys.
How you doing?
That was a pretty awesome introduction, man. You make me feel good.
Oh, nah, I appreciate it. Better than Keith. Mr. Larson.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you got everybody's attention with that interview. But how you doing? How you feeling today?
I'm good. It's Saturday. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to watching some college football later.
Definitely.
So it's just a good day. I no complaints here.
How have you felt about the week so far and the moves that, Marty Hurney has made as far as this KB trade?
Y'all know I don't know any other way but to be candid.
You got to.
Marty came in as interim GM,
right.
and he was just supposed to keep the house from burning down. And he does this. I don't like. Listen, okay, you might have two guys. Rivera said we had two guys with the same skill set. Number one, you should have known that when you drafted them in back-to-back years. But we're gonna put that aside.
That's true. That's true.
All right. You don't make this kind of move with your team in the position, playoff contender, right? Half a game behind for lead of the NFC South, which is one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL right now. That's right. You don't blow up your locker room in this manner. The timing was terrible, in my opinion.
Right.
And it will be really interesting to see how the team recovers tomorrow going up an Atlanta Falcons team who's right on their heels. I just, trades, okay, this is a business. There's no loyalty in professional football. I just don't like the timing of it at all.
Horrible timing.
At all.
I agree. I definitely agree. Bad timing. So your outlook on the season, basically your prediction is this will hurt the team or?
It's hard to say. Sometimes teams will rally around adversity and they'll, come closer together. We saw it in 2015 when it seems like everybody was against Cam, and that was one of the most fun, electric seasons that I've experienced here in Charlotte following the Panthers. So it really depends. Cam had a rough week, and then he came and they beat the Patriots. Then he dropped the ball against the Bears. And then They won last week. Who they play last week?
Last week, who they play? Buccaneers.
Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Went to Tampa Bay and got a win against the Buccaneers. It's just a team reeling from injuries. So now we're gonna see if the Panthers are official this Sunday against Matt Ryan and this Falcons team. We're gonna see if the defense can stop their incredible run attack. We're gonna see if Cam, what he's gonna be able to do on offense without his number one receiver. I don't know. Yeah, this Sunday is gonna tell us a lot about this team.
And I really, agree with you on that as well, because this was the worst timing possible you can pick to do something like this. Like right now, Carolina's offense is so inconsistent right now, and I think with that being said, Cam needs all the pieces around him to help him as well. The running game is trying to pick up as well. CMC is trying to get back into his groove as a rookie, and to take away the most productive player you have on offense right now is going to hurt y'all. And honestly, I think it may be a debacle in the season. The reason why, because I feel like it had to be more than just business. There's no way you trade this man and only get a 3rd and 7th round pick. Everybody knows 7th round picks may not even make the roster next year.
They got a cookout meal for KB. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And 3rd round draft picks, they may not even get playing time. So if you look at it right there, you got nothing from this man for the trade as well. And I think, playing Atlanta Falcons and how they play, I don't think that defense with Carolina, one thing, and me and Josh always argue about this, Carolina's defense is sometimes a bend but don't break, especially the secondary. Is hope that, they don't allow a big play. We're going to play cover 3, and we're going to keep everything in front of us. We got the best linebacker core, arguably, in the NFL, so we're going to have Luke and Thomas take care of everything else. But I just feel like with Atlanta's offense, and when Carolina plays, in the NFC South, you look at Matt Ryan, you look at the Drew Breeses of the world, they play a quarterback that can really pick a defense apart. It's gonna be a long day for Carolina.
I agree with everything y'all just said, but tell me if y'all agree with this statement. Like 2015, when KB got hurt and was out for the year, Cam was forced to spread the ball instead of forcing the ball to KB. True or false?
I don't.
That's different circumstances.
I think there were different circumstances, and he had Greg Olsen, who was his number one receiver at the time. So he spread the ball more, but he still had his go-to guy. He doesn't have that anymore.
That's right. And then you think of their defense as well. Their defense was better in 2015, in my opinion, than they are this year. Their secondary, Josh Norman, and the guys that they had a better defense. So you putting a lot of pressure on the defense that's already pretty young in the back end, and you putting a lot of pressure on your defensive line and your linebackers to make a lot of more plays. And I feel like right now at this point, it's just bad timing. And like I said, Marty, I just don't think that was the right move. Like Vashti said, he should have just maintained at this point and tried to, make sure the pieces that they got this year is contributing more as well. But getting rid of KB was just a wrong thing to do. So
the front 7 this year compared to that Super Bowl run, which one is better? With Julius Peppers added to this roster.
Whatever Julius Peppers is drinking or smoking, I need for him to give me, because this dude is legit like 75 years old and still
balling,
killing.
Right.
Like I don't understand that. This defense impresses me. They have impressed me. And if you look at Carolina teams in the past, they've always been built around strong defensive lines.
That's right.
Getting pressure on the quarterback, and then a secondary who might not be that good, capitalizing off of the mistakes of a quarterback who's being pressured. So, the defensive line is a little old, but they're playing well. And Luke Kuechly, I mean, somebody said he's like the Peyton Manning of linebackers, and I could kind of see that because I watch him and I'm impressed. If anyone can save this team, it'll be the defense. I think that's where they're going to have to go to. If we're looking at just the front 7, are they better than 2015? I would say they're just as good.
Yeah, and I think they're just as good, but I feel like if you look at all the other pieces on the team, I mean, you had a better running game in 2015. I feel like the secondary was better, and I feel like just the swag with Carolina was just on another level. So that took care of itself, and just the energy they had. I haven't seen that same energy from Carolina since 2015. I feel like taking something away from that locker room that shouldn't have been taken away, which is KB, is going to hurt them. Like, it's hard when a player gets hurt, okay, we're gonna get him back next year, we're gonna play for you. But when he gets taken away for a 3rd and 7th round draft pick, and your offense is already struggling, and your running game is inconsistent. At one point, Cam was leading the offense in rushing touchdowns. That's tough, So I don't know, man. It's just we'll see Sunday tomorrow. How Carolina comes out and plays against Atlanta.
Hey Q, what Cam say on Wednesday? You think Atlanta care about that trade? You think Atlanta care about that trade?
They're glad. They're glad for that trade.
I think everybody's being overdramatic. This is why.
Oh, come on.
This is why.
Come on.
CMC, right? You got CMC. Greg Olson's coming back week 12. Let's be real, okay? They have been force feeding the ball to CMC.
Okay, I was gonna say, do we really want to talk about CMC?
Exactly.
They have, but with KB out and Cam having to actually spread the ball out, Bird coming back, Curtis Samuel giving him more touches, Russell Shepard getting more touches. I don't agree with them bringing back Brenton Burson. I don't know what that's about.
This dude has 9 lives. I swear.
No, for real. 9 lives for real. I don't know why they brought him back. But it's always, if you look at the history of Carolina, it's always these kind of moments where people have them down and out. That's when they play the best. The Cardiac Cats. That's when they play the best. When Carolina, the year when everybody came in healthy, we went 7-8-1? I mean, we made the playoffs, but I mean, goodness gracious, started off 3-8-1. But if you just look at the history of the Panthers, it always at times like these. Even when we first lost Steve Smith, we still made the. I mean, think about that. It's always times like these.
But at the same time, you look at it, Josh, as well, man. Like Carolina, one thing is the inconsistencies. Who has proven themselves to be consistent in that offense that you can start giving them the ball?
I think Devin Funchess has been consistent. I think he's been consistent. He hasn't had the touches.
That's debatable.
He hasn't had the touches.
We
don't know yet.
We don't know.
But when he has, he's had great Detroit, great game.
Now from the
New England, great game.
And let's talk about CMC as well. What do y'all think his productivity has been this season? Because to me, if y'all want to, and I've been telling Josh,
and I agree with you.
Year, I told this man,
I said Dalvin Cook too.
Carolina should have drafted Dalvin Cook as well.
I agree.
A lot of people kept, CMC, you can use him in the punt return game, the kick return game. He's going to be this, that, and the third. And I told a lot of people, to me, I didn't think he was a better player, and he didn't go against better defenses than Delvin. So now you're looking that Carolina's trying to force feed him the ball, and he's become more of a passer, a receiver more than a runner. And that's why the productivity in the run game has not been there.
First of all, they could have gotten Fournette also.
Yeah,
right.
If you look at Panthers teams when they do well, first of all, they do well when they surround their offense around the run, and then they may go to it, and then it opens up everything as far as play action is concerned, right? But they are like a downhill running team. You look at Steven Davis from years ago. You look at even Jonathan Stewart. Like, these aren't lateral runners. They're guys who go up the gut and create and get yards. Christian McCaffrey is not running through any tackles. I mean,
that's a fact.
He's not running it. And to me, I don't know if he has the speed to really come off the edge when he gets the ball in motion or laterally. So right now, I'm disappointed in him. I think that they want him to be very successful. Like, they are like you said, kind of force feeding him and giving him all of these touches in hopes that he will be this successful guy. I just don't see him more than being like an average, maybe below average back. But he's not it for Carolina. They could have done better in the draft in terms of him. I think that they were going more for selling jerseys than winning games on the field.
And you know what? The crazy thing, I told Josh this right when he got picked. I said, it's not even nothing about football. It's about selling jerseys. It's about the smile. It's about the charisma, bringing a certain type of crowd out to Carolina Panthers games. And I feel like that's what they was trying to, present. And if you look at his productivity, it has not been there like you wanted it to be. And like Vashti was saying, I don't think he has the speed to get out on the outside of breakaway anything. I don't think he's a home run hitter. In college, if you look at it, his most successful years is when at Stanford is when they had an elite defense and their offensive line, pretty much all those guys were going to the NFL. His senior year, he struggled. he didn't have the same type of impact that he had. So if you look at it right now in Carolina, they're trying to make him more than what he really is. Try to get him in space. That's not working. Try to run between tackles. That's not working. And then what about everybody saying he's this dynamic punt and kick returner? Who has seen it?
So with all this being said, I'm going to put you on a position right now. I'm going to ask y'all 2 questions. Number 1, the prediction for tomorrow, the score, outcome, and what Carolina's record, what will they finish with? I'll start with you, Q.
Tomorrow, I think the score, I really want Carolina to get this game, but I really think the score is going to be 34-10.
You disrespectful.
No, the reason why I say that
34-10 Atlanta?
34-10 Atlanta.
Oh, my goodness.
And the reason why I say that, I don't think Carolina's offense has been efficient enough to put up points against Atlanta. Second of all, the defense, I love Carolina defense as well, but one thing about them, they break sometimes. When the offense is not moving the ball and they're not taking time off the clock and controlling the clock, that defense towards the third or fourth quarter start making mental errors, which allows teams to score the ball. So that's what I think. And as far as them finish the season, I think they'll finish it above 500, but I just don't know what. Because you never know. Each week you get a different Carolina Panthers team. One week, like when they beat the Patriots, I thought, man, hey, this may be it. This may be another 2015 season. And then they turn around and lose games they're not supposed to lose, the teams that they're not supposed to lose to. So I really don't know, man. Carolina, once I get a good view of tomorrow's game and what I see from them, then I can kind of make that prediction what their season's gonna look out.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna be disrespectful. You're hella disrespectful with that.
Thank you.
With that prediction. I'm probably go 24-20 Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm not being a homer, but I think that they understand that this is make or break for them. Like it's crazy for it to be, I don't know what week it is, but for them to have like one of those make or break games like right in the middle of the season. And I think that this is it for Carolina. I think that if given everything that's happened on this team with the media, with KB being traded, if they can go out and get a win against a good Atlanta team, then that will kind of like set them off. And I think that they understand the importance around this. So I'm going to give it 24-20. If they win this game, I think that they could probably go on to win the NFC South. But, to me, like you said, everything is like really riding on this game for me as far as how the remainder of the season will play out.
I like that. I got 28-17 Carolina. I think the defense is going to come out of nowhere, like just when their backs are against the wall. That's when the Panthers play so good.
And I understand that as well. But one thing I think, too, Carolina needs to start doing is they have to create more turnovers, which that's luck. Turnovers is a lot of luck in football as well, and being disciplined. They have to create turnovers and to help their offense out.
And you know how the turnovers going to come?
How?
Strip, fumbles, sacks, strip sacks, JP, Kawan Short.
What about that secondary holding up?
And probably not against Matty Ice. Probably not. And Julio Jones.
But the hope is they don't have to hold up. The hope is that the defensive line gets enough pressure on Matt Ryan that they force him into mistakes and the secondary just capitalizes on it. But we can't, you're right. That secondary is kind of weak.
What happened last year?
But guess what? When you have the best linebacking core in the NFL, and one of the best front fours in the NFL, hey, it covers your weakness.
You're asking a lot from this defense.
Really?
A lot more. You're losing your number one consistent player on offense, and you're expecting this defense now.
Ted Ginn was the main receiver for that Super Bowl team. Think about that. He was the number one receiver, Ted Ginn.
And he's balling in New Orleans, by the way.
Exactly. And then he's balling.
He's doing all right.
And then not only that, the running game was so much more better and efficient. They control the clock. And not only that, Carolina had a lot more big plays going on as well. I haven't seen a lot of big plays from Carolina. They've been moving the ball down the field, but guess what? Stalling out. And I feel like another thing is Dan Shuler's play calling in the red zone has been fishy.
I agree.
It's been very fishy. And he can't do that. He has to utilize the players that he have on the field. And I feel like once he get into the red zone, it kind of like Carolina stalls out and the play calling starts to get very fishy. And I feel like they got to tighten that up. If they want to have a successful season, a lot more changes within is going to have to happen.
I agree, but just last thing, just as long as Cam Newton has been on this team, he's been the biggest run threat. So I'm not even worried about a running game. he's always been the biggest run threat. Period.
That's true. That's true.
But we're going to switch topics right quick. Because, of course, we got our special guest, Miss Vashti, in the building. And, of course, you know, the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of topics within, you know, female reporters, period, in sports, minority reporters in sports. A lot of things have came up from this whole, first of all, just seeing everybody going in on Jemele Hill saying she's in the sunken place now. I mean, after her statement, I just want to get your thoughts on that, first of all, about how
well, maybe I'm what statement? I've been busy.
Oh, my. So, basically, you know, after Jemele Hill was, you know, suspended from ESPN for SportsCenter after the comments about Trump, she came back and basically said, hey, I deserve to be suspended.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I heard that.
And basically, ESPN changed the whole guidelines for social media for all their personalities.
PR.
And people, you know, especially a lot of minorities were saying, why would you say that? Why would you, you know, you're in the sunken place. Why would you agree with what they're doing to you? You have a right to say what you say about, you know, our president. So what is your take on that with Jemele Hill?
Them checks.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, what's she gonna do? Those
Right.
ESPN checks, nice.
So you would have done the same
No,
thing?
no.
What am I about to say?
No. But, you know, but then again, you never can tell what you would do in a certain situation until you're in it.
Right.
I just feel like, and I've met her and we've conversed.
Really?
And at NABJ a few years ago, and she's real cool, and really outspoken and real kind of power to the people. So for her to kind of backtrack in that manner,
Right.
I feel like she was kind of probably nudged in that direction by ESPN corporate to say, okay, y'all, they're coming at us. You have to say that, you know, you were wrong. And also you have to look at who pays those bills.
That's
Right.
Advertisers and those people who are usually not advertising to her base and her, let's say young black millennials, but they're not advertising to us. They're advertising to white men or white women, and they don't like to hear that. They don't like to hear, you know, black folk be too loud and about injustices that are that happen in this country. So, you know, is she in the sunken place? I don't know. She's eating well if she is in the sunken place. She's eating well in that sunken place. But I think that it shows that there's a bigger picture here to me. And I feel like sometimes we get there's an assumption made because we see a black face on TV that means that we have arrived in media.
Right.
But on the press boxes, and I've been in them, like there's sometimes where I'm one of maybe, let's say there are 30 people in the press box, and there may be 4 blacks, and I'm the only black woman, compared to on the field where it's completely opposite. So people in the press boxes are the ones who are driving this narrative, and we are underrepresented in that. And so black ownership in media is just as important as black representation, because if Jemele Hill worked for someone who looked like her, then I don't know if she would have gotten suspended. I think that maybe they would have had her back more, or even encouraged her to be, you know, vocal about things, because, you know, too much is given, much is required, and she has that voice. And her being able to use it on the platform like Twitter, like nobody's checking Trump for his tweets. So, you know, I don't know if she's in the sunken place, but I don't think that she's going to be as vocal ever again like she has been.
And you know what? I feel the same way as well. It's definitely a sad situation that when we talk about equality in America, we have to kind of dummy things down. And we got to kind of be quiet. And it's a sad thing that, you know, Jemele, I feel like she had to. And like Vashti said, those checks, you know, at the end of the day, money rules everything. And when you start talking about things that a lot of sponsors don't want you to talk about, a lot of viewers don't want to talk about, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to. You know, and at the end of the day, I feel like, is she in a sunken place? No, I think she just had to make a conscientious decision about her future. Because the same way Kaepernick is getting blackballed, the same way she may as well can get blackballed as well. So I feel like she just had to make a decision for herself. I just feel like it's a sad situation, and it really hurts my heart that, you know, someone like her that's outspoken, that's for the people as well, as you may see, won't be as vocal anymore because she knows the position she has been put in.
So let me ask y'all something. The executives up at Bristol for ESPN, they come to y'all and say, we have a 6-figure check with Vashti Hurt name on it. Boom. We want y'all on Sports Center at 6. We want y'all on Dan Le Batard's show. We want y'all making the rounds, everything. But don't you do nothing crazy on that social media.
Don't you talk
about no pro-black, no kneeling, no Trump, no Papa John's.
None of that.
Don't you talk about none of that. You better keep it strictly sports.
PG-13.
But the check looks so good. Goodness gracious. You better move to Valentine. What you doing?
They're going to fire me anyway. I'm just saying, I'm going to be destined to get the axe. Because to me, like, once someone is able to strip you of your power, which is your voice, then it doesn't matter how much money they're giving you because you've lost your self-identity. And eventually, in the long run, you have to live with that. And if you talk to people who have made concessions in order to be paid, as they get older, they regret those decisions because they lost who they were in the process. And I don't think losing who I am as a black woman, as an outspoken black woman, as a someone who is proud to be black and has no problem with saying that, I don't feel like any amount of money I would allow any amount of money to take that away from me.
I respect. Definitely.
I do too as well.
That's 1,000. Now let me ask y'all this: as far as the Papa John comments, you know, we heard what he said about the kneeling, and the one thing you hear people say is once it starts affecting the dollars and the sponsorships, the NFL is really gonna, you know, they're gonna up the ante. What do y'all think will come now that Papa John's is saying, oh, because of the NFL and the controversy on the field, we're losing money and this, that, and the third?
Well, first of all, it's just showing how the people up high can start flexing their power. And it shows right then when, like I said, my dad is he always put me up on game as a kid. And like he said, once you start affecting their money, that's when things start to change. And I feel like it's a good and bad thing that he made that comment. First of all, it shows where his heart at as a person.
Yep.
And it shows that a lot of people don't care about equality in America. It's when Kaepernick, and I want to go off topic, when Kaepernick, you know, took a kneel last year, I also want to ask, why didn't more black athletes and football players do it last year? Why did they had to wait till Donald Trump said anything to do something? Why did they have to take that? Why couldn't they have that same mindset, that same energy that they got now? Why they didn't have it last year? I feel like last year when y'all could have stood with him and really made some significant changes in the NFL, it could have been done then. You didn't do it. You waited till Donald Trump said something. So you really took the focus off what Kaepernick was trying to convey, and they twisted it up and made it something that it really wasn't. So you think about it. First of all, he's kneeled because the national anthem didn't stand for everybody, didn't stand for equality. They took it and they switched it about a flag. Think about that. You switch it and say, well, they're trying to say they're not respecting the soldiers, the fallen soldiers in America, and they're not respecting the flag. You took it and you switched the whole topic of what the whole narrative was to make it something that it wasn't. So now that you look at it now, where we are now, in this process, what Papa John said is affecting money, I feel like you're going to start seeing some changes as well. And I feel like what those black or any NFL players that, if you believe in equality, it doesn't matter if you're black, brown, white, green, yellow, you need to still take a kneel and stand for what, and fight for you and your family, and not only just this generation, but the generation after us. So, like I said, I feel like those comments, it's more change to become. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's more change to become.
Papa John lying. I mean, straight up. Like, yeah. I don't believe that. Right. Number one, your pizza is not that good for you to be out here trying to blame the NFL on it. If your product is good, people will eat it and people will buy it. That's true. So if your sales are declining, it's such a coward move to try to blame it on the NFL protest.
Medicine sauce.
Listen, this is all part of a larger conspiracy kind of to try to silence these NFL players.
That's right.
And to take away and emasculate them and take away their voices. So now you have now we have corporations coming in and saying, oh, you're affecting our bottom line. That's a lie. I don't believe that for one bit. Where are the receipts? Let me see the receipts. Okay. So he's coming in. It's another ploy. I'm not buying it. And so to me, all right, fine. Now you really not gonna have black people eating your pizza, right?
Exactly.
And you think, and the crazy thing is with the NFL and the protests, you got the MAGA people who are upset and they're boycotting. Then you have some black people who are boycotting because they don't like the way that the league is treating the players. You're not making anybody happy. So I don't know what Papa John is doing, but I won't buy his pizza anymore.
Me either. I'm going Little Caesars now. I'm going Little Caesars. I'd rather eat Little Caesars than Papa John's.
That's a strong statement right there.
I know, right?
Eat Papa John's now?
No, I'm saying you rather eat Little Caesars
than Papa John's. Hey, I'd rather do it.
There you go.
I'm not going to support that.
Yeah. I'm just saying, though. Well, let me ask y'all this, all right? I'm Josh Sapu. I'm a 4th-string linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm on a rookie contract. I don't want to kneel because I'm scared that I could lose my contract, kicked off the team, whatever. Do y'all have sympathy for me?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I mean, that's a tough situation.
Right.
Just like Jamel Hill, only it's different because Jamel Hill, media and football is your lifespan in football is very short. So you 4th string, you just at that point you just happy you made the 53.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So any mistake, somebody gets hurt, you're always constantly living with the idea in the back of your mind that one day all of this could be over and permanently.
Right.
So you have to capitalize on it as long as you can, for as much as you can. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't get mad when these guys hold out on their contracts. Mm-hmm. Like their time frame in the NFL is very short, and they have to make as much money as they can while they are there. So yeah, I do sympathize with that person. But these stars, those are the ones. Yeah. These players who have the power, the players who are irreplaceable. You think if Dez, Ezekiel, and Dak kneeled, that Jerry Jones would cut them?
No. Mm-mm.
Not 1 second.
Messing with the money.
Not 1 second.
Exactly.
So that's where it's going to have to start. It has to start from the top down. These young guys who may want to voice their opinions have to know that these star players who actually have the power have their backs. And right now, everybody is so selfishly thinking about themselves. And to me, Cap will be remembered for generations to come, right?
Definitely.
Cam Newton might not be remembered for generations to come, right?
Wow,
that's fact.
I mean, these are facts. Cam Newton, you see what happened with RG3? Like he's gone, came and went.
Dang,
right?
y'all put him on an RG3 level? Y'all put Cam?
No, I'm not putting Cam. I'm just saying
it's a blur.
Notable black quarterbacks who came in under all of this fanfare,
right?
Or even like honestly, when we're writing history, I think that Colin Kaepernick will have a greater place in history than a Tom Brady because he's had that much of an impact in one just kneel.
That's it.
And he will always, like, the dude is in the Smithsonian right now. Like that is never ending. So to me, you have to decide whether you just want to live for the few years that you play in the league, or you want to be somebody that's never forgotten.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all something. So with Cam, right?
Yeah.
A lot of when I went down there and I asked the question in the locker room on my Snapchat, I said, if Cam Newton doesn't kneel this Sunday, this is right after Trump said what he said. I said, if he doesn't kneel this Sunday, how would you feel? And a lot of people were calling him coon. He'll be this, that, and the third. In the back of my head, I'm like, wow, so what if somebody just kneeled, but they didn't mean it? You know what I'm saying? So is it just the action that they want? Or is it, what if they put in money where their mouth is, but they're not kneeling? Would that still make up for it? Or is it like, no, you have to take this stand to show them that you're in solidarity for the equality of our brown and black men and women that are being killed by police?
You take that kneel.
You take that kneel, even if you don't mean it. Even if you don't really.
Even if it's the statement behind it. You don't even gotta. He didn't even have to put money. It's the visual representation of what you're trying to stand for. And I feel like a lot of more athletes, and like Vashti was saying, why are not the Cams kneeling? Why are the top NFL players in the NFL are black? Why are you guys not kneeling?
So even if Cam gave $1 million to a minority charity, whatever the case may be, you still want him to kneel. You say it's not gonna matter until you kneel.
No, he can. You can donate the money, but what I'm saying, the visual representation has to be made.
Yeah.
The visual we have to see. You have to make a statement, and look how many viewers you will get. Let me tell you something. Anybody can donate $1 million to an organization and it not be put in the news.
Yeah.
The media. But when the camera's on you on Sunday afternoons and people see you kneel, guess what they're gonna say? You stood for something. Because guess what? You wasn't afraid. And I feel like a lot of blacks, if you look even during civil rights, it was the people that wasn't afraid of the consequences to come. And I feel like these guys have to stand for something or you fall for anything.
So would it be for Cam to kneel for the rest of the year or just kneel one time?
I just didn't want to see Cam go out like a punk.
Exactly.
I didn't want to see any of those guys go out like a punk because in my opinion, Donald Trump and the owners punked them. And these are grown-ass men, right, who got punked on national TV. And you have little black boys watching these grown-ass men get punked. And to me, that made a statement.
It did in itself.
So that game against the Saints, right after when Trump made those comments, and Julius Peppers was the only one that stayed in the locker room, Thomas Davis, Daryl Worley, Cam, everybody, Jonathan Stewart, everybody that stood up was punked. They basically showed that
slave mentality. Master and slave mentality.
I think they were. I mean, and listen, all of these guys are very charitable and they give money, regardless of whether they're kneeling or not. But like Q said, that visual representation, like for somebody to say, "Oh, you better not do this," like I'm a grown ass man. You gonna tell me what I better not do?
Right.
Like so, for them to just go out there and just not do anything.
So when Cam scored that touchdown in New England and put up the
He
fist,
tried.
That wasn't good enough.
It was a reaction to all of the criticism. And then something else happened that week. I'm trying to remember what happened. Something else happened that inspired him to. It came out that the players were scared to do something.
Which I figured that's.
And they were, and it came out that the players were scared, and they were like, "Oh, it's not too late." And yeah, he threw up the fist, and afterward, he was talking about being proud of black and black power. That was great, good, okay. But when for the first time ever, the NFL televised the national anthem for all of their games that weekend after everything happened. And Carolina didn't do
anything. Think about that. The visual representation, the message that you're sending across all those viewers are that you're scared, and that money controls you. But at least at the end of the day, what are they scared about? You're scared about what? Losing what? Money. That's the only thing. It's not about I'm scared what people may say about me. They're scared of losing money, and it shows right now that honestly, in our black male athletes, money controls how that people don't even really fight for what's right anymore. If the money's right, people's not gonna fight for it. Cam didn't want to lose, and he still ended up losing sponsorships off of what
Jordan
Rodriguez. So either way, you lost out. You should have stood for something, And now, like I said, you end up losing sponsorships from a feminist comment he made, a sexist comment he made, instead of actually losing a sponsorship for standing up for what's right.
Bam.
Let me ask y'all this. And I kind of know the answer to what y'all going to say, but do you think Cap will ever be back in the NFL, will ever be signed?
No.
Would you want him to actually be signed?
Of course.
Really?
You know the crazy thing is?
Why not?
Think about it.
No for me.
And I know what you better say, because David Banner made the perfect point. Why would you want to come back?
Yeah, what owner would I like to play for?
Exactly. When you know their mentality.
Here. Think about how many other teams have lost quarterbacks, needed backups. And
Deshaun Watson just went down.
I seen some NFL teams sign guys that haven't threw an NFL pass. Why would I want to come back to an organization that doesn't want me?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Well, he's suing them now, so
yeah.
It's definitely over. But
you're gonna get in the locker room, and some guys not gonna like you. And not only that, how can you play for people that don't want you there?
I get that.
That doesn't even make sense. Like, you're gonna get on the team. It's feel like the only way Cap is gonna get back on. Let's say he gets signed by somebody. it's only going to be because of guilt. It's not because they actually see him as that's who they want to be, on their team.
Or because of this case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The case coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, that would in the case. Either way, it's bad. Either way, it's bad.
And phone and text gonna have to come out in phone conversations.
Man, so we got to switch it up here. We got to switch it up because again, with the whole kneeling thing, and then with Kim with the whole sexist comment thing, it's been a lot of things going on. But we got a special guest, so we want to get to know our special guest a little bit more. We're gonna play a little game, right?
Oh,
let's do it.
Little game.
Let's do it.
It's this or that. It's called this or that.
Okay.
You gotta pick one.
Okay.
It might, again, there's no boundary, so it's not just sports.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
right.
down for it. I'm excited.
Okay, Jay-Z or Nas?
Jigga.
Oh, Beyonce or Rihanna?
Come on, B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj, Lauryn Hill.
What?
Hey, you got something.
You could be a Barbie.
You got something. You got
She
something.
could be
What?
a Barbie. She could
Did
be a
they
Barbie.
really? Did y'all really, yo?
Oh, she could be a Barbie.
Some females
Really?
may pick Nicki. Some people-
Oh
some
my
people
God!
don't
Like
will.
I'm not even going to dignify that question with a
shoot.
response.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Okay,
What?
let me switch it up then. Lauryn Hill or Lil' Kim?
again.
Oh, wow.
Lauren, come on, man. That's one. The Miseducation was one of the best albums
Classic.
ever.
Classic
Okay.
ever.
Come on,
Okay.
yo.
Okay. Panthers or Hornets?
Panthers,
Duke or Carolina?
Duke.
Oh
my
I'm going to end the
gosh.
podcast right here. I appreciate Vashti Hurt for coming on the podcast.
Men lie, women lie. Numbers down.
Hold on, you gotta
Hey,
give.
door exit right away.
You gotta give an explanation on that one. I need an explanation on that one.
I'm just saying, consistent. When we're talking about consistent programs, there's been no other program in college basketball as consistent
That's facts.
as the Duke Blue Devils.
That's facts.
Period.
Really? Winning
Even-
a national title in every decade since the 70s?
Okay.
Who got a better coach?
Y'all went.
Who got better coaches? Dean Smith and
y'all
Roy
remember
Williams.
that Matt Daugherty time frame, or you forgot about?
Oh, that was a bad time frame. That was a bad time
When
frame.
has Duke had a bad time frame? I'll wait.
Before Coach K.
Yeah, how long was that?
Come
That's been
on,
about
we
40
Before
years.
Coach
listen.
K.
I wasn't even born then, so
Before
I,
Coach
that-
K.
I-
Put that
those
up
not
there.
my problems. What
So-
I'm saying is, has Duke had that? Has Duke ever had that?
I put it like this.
Okay.
I put it like this. Every category, more titles, more AC championships, more wins, more head-to-head wins, more regular season championships, more All-Americans, more NBA players. It's
I
all
don't
Carolina.
NBA players.
More NBA players.
right now.
Overall.
Oh, because we can't live on like Vince Carter,
Yeah.
Michael
Oh,
Jordan era.
hey, this
Right
is
now,
crazy.
y'all are consistently putting out trash NBA players.
Trash NBA. Oh, my heart.
Who?
Ty Lawson?
Huh?
Hey.
Oh God!
Hold on,
God,
Ty-
are we
hold on,
ending
wait,
this?
wait, wait.
Can we
Excellent
end this
over
now?
there.
Hold on. Wait.
Ty
wait.
Lawson?
He's not a great backup point guard?
No.
And who? JJ Redick's good. Who does Duke
To
have?
me, backups aren't. Listen, when we're talking about North Carolina, we're talking about the home of the GOAT.
You right.
Okay.
You right.
We talking about Vince Carter's.
James
We
Worthy.
talking about Worthies. And you said Ty Lawson.
You said we can't count Vince Carter in them in the past.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The point is, y'all don't have anybody.
Harrison Barnes not leading the Mavericks right now in scoring? Oh my gosh.
Harrison Barnes.
That is
Hey,
crazy.
you forgot about Tyler Hansbrough, didn't you?
Oh, he out the league. That's different. Now that's different though. That's different. But he's still the GOAT. And, you know what I'm saying?
Who?
And power forwards at Carolina.
Oh my
Stop
God.
it. He
the
Sean
leading
May
scorer of all
Sean May was better than Ty than
Ooh.
Hey, Tyler Hansbrough was averaging
Y'all get
a
risky with
double-double.
these comments.
He was,
Hey,
he was
y'all
averaging
get
a
risky.
double-double at one point.
We talking about
And
the
he
leading
was-
scorer
he was the
of
best player in the country.
Carolina. We talking about the leading scorer of Carolina.
I don't think he wasn't as, to me, on the court as being dominant. He wasn't as dominant of a player as Sean May.
What? Undefeated in Cameron Indoor Stadium? National Player of the Year?
But we're talking about as a player.
As a
As a
player?
player. Who can stop Hansbrough? When was there ever a time where you said, man, Hansbrough got stopped today?
Gerald Henderson did a good job.
Gerald.
Let me
That's-
tell you
I'm
something.
just
on
talking
now.
about when his
Yeah.
nose was bloody. You
That-
caught
come on,
that.
that's a cheap
Hey, he was
shot.
right there. You know, everybody remember-
That's a cheap
Let me tell you
shot.
something.
And we won the
Tyler-
game, by the way. Just let people know.
Yeah. Let me tell you about Tyler Hansbrough, man. I think he's one of the best college basketball players ever to do it. man.
Exactly.
Hey, double machine, but at the same time, his game didn't translate to the NBA.
You're right. It did.
And, you know what I'm saying? He's a great player, but at the same time, to me, head to head, will I pick Duke or Carolina? If I had a son coming up and I wanted him to play for somebody and go to a program, it would be Duke.
Come on, man.
It'll be Duke.
Roy, what?
First of all,
Y'all see what he doing?
Wait, hold
Y'all
up.
see he got off the case. You see he got off the case. Like,
First of all, of course, because you're not going to penalize your reigning national champion and one of the most profitable teams for your business. So that's not, I mean, and they waited. If they were going to penalize North Carolina, they would have done it at the beginning.
That's right.
So I already knew that was a fluke.
Untouchable.
But if I have a son and my son is a baller, right? Right now, Roy Williams hasn't had a lottery pick since Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm just looking at it right now.
Just look. Oh yes, because if my son is official, then we're looking toward the NBA.
Yeah. So just
right?
because because Justin Jackson was one pick outside the lottery pick.
But it's not even that.
First of all, Justin Jackson was a lottery player.
Yeah, he was.
He should have left.
Yeah.
Right?
You right.
What Marcus Page was being talked about as a lottery player. They were supposed to get better as they remain in college. Their games regress.
It's all about the one and dones now, though.
Right.
It's all about the one and done.
And think about Joel Berry this year. I guarantee he will not have a biggest impact this year on that Carolina team. I don't think he should have been left, but I think Joel Berry is not even an NBA player, to be real.
Ooh. Really. Come on. You think Joel Berry's an NBA player?
He's a G League player. That's a good G League player.
Are we talking about G League?
That's part of the NBA
really
G League.
Brought up the G League.
He brought up the G League.
Hold up.
I mean, Duke fans don't even think about G Leagues. They're all about lotteries.
Hold up, time out. Who is the best player that Coach K has ever coached in the NBA? I want y'all to think about that.
He got
for a
so
minute.
many great players.
He does.
So many great players. Like
he
who?
got too many great players.
Who? Like who is you could say a legend from Coach K in the NBA? I'll give you one. I help y'all. Grant Hill.
Yeah.
And that's a sub. Like some people say.
No, he had injuries, but Grant Hill was official. You're not old enough.
Yeah.
You're not old enough.
I know the Piston days. I used to hate Grant Hill against my Hornets, but Grant Hill. Who else?
I just feel like Coach K is coached
Great.
a lot of great college players.
John Shire, Greg Paulus, Brian Zubek,
Hey,
Nolan Smith.
Okay.
Come on.
Was a dog out there.
Danny Green. Y'all see what he just did to Giannis?
Stop it, because he was out the league for a minute. He had to come
What?
back.
Danny
he was
Green.
Out the league for a minute and had to
Danny
come
Green
back.
not leading the Spurs right now scoring?
Right now.
Come on now.
He's not even up. Isn't Kawhi's hurt?
Kawhi's hurt right now.
Come on, dude. Stop. Next,
Hold on.
this or
So
that.
Danny Green
I thought we were doing this or that.
Hold up. Because you threw me off with the Duke comment. Grant Hill's the only legend.
Yeah.
Can you say that? You confirm that. He's the only legend that Coach K has had in the NBA. Even the best player he had in college, Christian Laettner, did nothing. He was a journeyman in the NBA.
But that's the thing, though. Duke has always been known for having good college players that didn't translate to the NBA.
Yeah.
And that was fine. And North Carolina hung their hats on the fact that their guys would go to the NBA and ball out.
Exactly.
Now that has flipped.
Switched. Exactly.
It's completely switched.
Duke
yes, it has.
Duke is getting better recruits than Carolina's getting right now.
Hands down.
This year, who has the number one recruit coming up this year? We know who it is. Nazir Little just committed to Carolina. We know we getting Zion Williams.
No,
we getting him.
Zion.
Let me give y'all a little tea right here.
Oh, give me the tea.
About Zion. First of all, I like his game. He's a good dunker. I just need to see him outside of dunking on middle schoolers. However, I look at social media, right?
Right.
So Zion, and I don't know, this is all based on what I viewed on social media. Zion has a girlfriend who goes to his school who is very connected to the Duke program. Now, I don't know if her dad went to Duke or whatever, but recently he deleted some pictures and he took her, you know how you can go and see your tag pictures?
Yeah,
he took that off. But last year, he was rocking Duke apparel, talking about Coach K, girlfriend, all Duke. If you think that doesn't have an influence,
it does.
I bet
on
it does.
a recruiting decision.
It does.
I know it does, but it's crazy because what about the influence of putting Roy's championship rings on his Snapchat?
Stop it.
What? So?
Stop it.
What that mean?
So Roy Williams walks to your house with national championship rings.
You think Coach K isn't doing
hasn't
that?
done that?
We talking about this go back to Kansas. Final 4 rings back to Kansas.
Man, ain't nobody worried about them Kansas
Come
days.
on. Paul Pierce? Y'all forgot how good Roy Williams is.
Man,
Paul
let me tell you
Pierce ain't
something.
the legend.
Listen, let me tell you what.
That's
These players
crazy.
now, who are these players right now looking up to? They're looking up to Kobe. Like, they grew up watching Kobe, right?
right.
Oh,
They grew up watching LeBron James,
Yep.
Kevin Durant. Who coached them in the Olympics? Who do these guys? These guys aren't talking about
You fell into the trap.
Roy Williams.
You fell into the trap.
I'm just saying, these guys aren't talking about Roy Williams being like this. Like, these guys idolize over Coach K. That makes a difference.
Do you know what school Kobe ended up saying he actually would have went to?
Duke.
Nope. Look it up on Jimmy Kimmel.
Duke.
Hey, you know what? Watch this.
LeBron said.
I know
Duke
you
as
know what I'm
well.
talking about. Look up the clip.
LeBron said.
Look
Duke
it
as
up.
well.
Look up Kobe Bryant on Jimmy Kimmel. And if I'm lying, I'll give everybody in here $5. Look what
Five.
he said.
Hey, shake on
And shake on it. 5. You give me 5 if I'm right.
Hey, you already know I'm good with the belt.
Okay. Watch this. Look it up on Jimmy Kimmel. This is out of Kobe the Bean Bryant's mouth. He said, if I'm lying, y'all all, and I'll let y'all slap me. He said, this is exactly what he said. He said at the time the number 1 player in the country was Vince Carter. He said he wanted to play against the best recruit. Vince went to Carolina. He said he wanted to play for Dean Smith and go up against Vince because he knew he was going to the NBA, but he ended up deciding to go to the NBA. But he said, yeah, a lot of people thought I was going to Duke, but I was going to Carolina. Look it up. It's on video. You can just type in Kobe Bryant UNC or Kobe Bryant
You
Jimmy
think?
Kimmel.
If that's true, I read an article where he said he would have gone to Duke.
He just
But
spelled that,
if
yep.
that's true, he's not talking about Roy Williams now. He wanted to play for Dean Smith.
Exactly.
He
That's
didn't
his
want to play
prodigy.
for Roy Williams.
That's his prodigy. But think
look-
about
That
it.
doesn't mean
But let's be
anything to
real.
these guys.
Let's be real. When Coach K retires in the next 2-3 years, right? Is Duke gonna keep up the consistency like Carolina has?
Who knows?
With the new coach?
Wait,
Who knows?
Carolina. Because
Roy
did
Williams
we
has
just
it?
not talk about those Matt Darter years?
Who's that? We forgot about that. We talking about
Oh,
Roy Williams. We
okay.
talking about Roy
All right.
Williams.
I'm just checking
We talking about-
because I mean,
I'm just saying. After you said numbers never lie, right? Who has more championships?
Carolina.
Who has more Final Fours?
Carolina.
Who has more ACC tournament
by like
championships?
one, yo,
Who has
that
more
could
AC
change
regular
this season. Like we talking, you acting
By
like
2.
y'all got like 5, 6, 7. No, it's like
It's 6.
one more national championship. I think. Like
6, and then what? Duke got 4?
Yeah. So who has the better chance of winning the national championship?
come on, you already know.
Carolina.
Stop it. Everybody said that last year with Harry Giles, and I told y'all.
No,
it was
everybody
Carolina.
said Carolina was
Harry
gonna
Giles was hurt.
And I told, and Jason Tatum, Harry Giles, Jason Tatum, they still couldn't get to the past South Carolina, the Gamecocks, a football school.
I was at that game. Okay.
It was
South
ready.
Carolina
Greenville
was
was
a scrappy
ready.
team.
I was at that game. First of all, that game was not supposed to be held in Greenville, Spartanburg.
You were supposed to be in
That
Carolina.
game was supposed to be in Greensboro.
Sound like an excuse.
But HB2 moved that game to Greenville,
You
right?
Right.
So the most dangerous team is a team with nothing to lose. On top of that, you add that they had an incredible advantage being in Greenville, Spartanburg. And Frank Martin isn't a bad coach. And those guys were young. I
Exactly.
mean, nobody was surprised that Carolina won last year. You know that, right?
Everybody
Of course.
everybody had
look,
them winning.
we were supposed to win 2 years ago against Villanova. Let's be real. So you just said the most dangerous team is the team that has nothing to lose. What about a team that has everything to lose and they still got it?
And you know what? I
Think
probably-
about
Who
that.
had everything to lose?
Carolina.
did because I feel
They
like
had everything to
I
lose.
feel like if they would have lost again last year,
Oh,
man,
it
would
would've
have been
been-
a debacle.
oh, my
so
gosh.
to have them guys lose to Villanova like that and to come back and to fight back and to win a national championship in that fashion, man, you got to give your hats off to
But
Carolina.
see, the problem is y'all don't realize that this one and done phase is gonna run short. I get it. They pulled it off with Jaleel Okafor in 2015 and Tyus Jones, Anthony Davis with
And they
Kentucky.
got,
they did their
Bagley,
thing.
who's the guy they got
But
right
guess
now?
what? Marvin Bagley.
Bagley.
It shows that more often, more times than not, you're gonna lose. You're gonna go early when you have youngsters on your team, one and done. And Coach K wants to switch it up. Okay, that's cool. We'll see. We'll keep getting these veterans, keep getting our upperclassmen.
6-year players.
Right. And come on. If you're looking at the Carolina team right now, you really can honestly say that they're better than Duke.
Do you feel
Oh, yeah.
confident?
Jaleel Felton, Joe Barry. First of all,
We haven't seen Jaleel play yet. First of all,
Right.
and we haven't seen Marvin Bagley play. We haven't seen most of
But
Duke's team play.
you're talking about the number one
Think
player in
about
the
that.
country right now. Come on,
Harry Giles was the number one player in the country.
But
He was
hurt.
before he got hurt.
He
He
got
still
hurt.
has
He wasn't
really
that good.
he hasn't been the same player since he got hurt.
He hasn't been the same player since his junior year in high school.
Overrated before he got hurt. So y'all mean to tell me if Zion Williamson right now committed to Carolina, y'all want to think we were automatic favorites?
No.
Wow. What is your vendetta against UNC? Like, that's what I'm
I
trying
don't
to
have
figure
a
out.
vendetta because I cover UNC and I like UNC. I like the program. I like Roy Williams. Like, I'm really coming from as unbiased a perspective as I
Me
can.
too, 'cause I'm not
You
even-
asked me Duke versus UNC.
That's crazy.
So I told you Duke. Does UNC have a great program? Yes.
The greatest. Yep.
No. Does Duke have a great program? Yes. Do these teams flip-flop as far as their dominance? Yes. So I think that if we're looking at who is better, I'm going to give the edge to Duke, but North Carolina's right under.
I give the edge to Duke because they have a better coach. They do. And like I said, Coach K will go down as a top 5 ever and
top 3, I
top
think.
3 basketball coaches.
Yeah.
When you put in NBA and college basketball, he's top 3. I mean, and to see what this man has done over the years to keep that consistency is crazy, man. And honestly, a lot of coaches, once they're out their prime, they can't get those top-notch players because they can't adjust to time. And he know how to adapt and get those players still as well. So, I mean, Roy Williams to me is not that good of a coach, to be real.
What?
Not as good, but the reason why
I was
say
about
that,
to let
on.
y'all go.
Time after time, there have
Are
been
y'all
questions
serious?
about Roy's game management.
exactly. When they
And
had-
that's the number one job of the coach.
When they had, think about when they had PJ Harrison as well as they had Reggie Bullock. Why did he not start both of them at the same time? Why
He
would
did.
you say? No, it took for I think boosters to tell him to start those guys.
I remember
A lot
they
of
started
times
the
his
whole
game
year.
management is not right. The Villanova game when you guys lost is because of game management.
It was a lucky shot.
No, everybody knows to guard the inbounder in basketball, and I don't even play. I stopped playing basketball when I was 12, and I know to guard the inbounder. And you don't guard the inbounder.
Think about everything y'all saying, right? And this man got 3 rings. Think about everything y'all saying, and he still got 3
Of
rings.
course. I'm
Because
not
the
saying we're not
players-
saying he's a trash coach. We're
Yeah.
just saying he's not as good as Coach K. I think anybody would agree with that.
Dean Smith, Coach K, Roy Williams.
No.
Dean Smith's not better than Coach K?
No, I'm just saying I wouldn't put Roy Williams right under Coach K.
Oh, I'm not saying right under. You
Okay.
probably have. I wouldn't even give it to Patino.
I don't
I'm
know
not giving it to
Patino.
Calipari. I'm not giving it. Maybe Boeheim, but they took Boeheim's. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not giving it to Rupp because Rupp was a racist. So, yeah.
Coach K is the best to me college basketball coach ever.
Coach K and Dean Smith,
Dean
they're
Smith.
going to end up right
Yeah.
here.
And don't forget what Dean Smith did for black players in the ACC.
Oh yeah, he did a lot.
Y'all was just talking about Cap. Remember what Dean Smith did?
Yeah.
Listen,
Remember-
that's not you're not gonna get us on the NC bandwagon by going with the pro-black thing. Come on,
But we gonna
man.
go back to music though, because again, I know I started y'all with the Nicki Minaj and Lauryn
Yeah.
Hill, but I just had to ask you. You could have been a Barbie. Could have been one of her bars. Yeah,
Do I look like a Barbie, y'all?
That's
She could have been a
crazy.
Do I
Harajuku
look like a
Barbie.
Barbie, y'all?
That's
Come on,
crazy.
man.
Barbie.
Stop.
We gonna take it on music, and I want to know your opinion on the state of rap music right now, or basically urban music in general. But yeah, definitely rap music compared to maybe the '90s or 2000s. How do you feel about it right now in today's age?
I think music evolves. I think I listen to music now, just like rap now, just to get hype. But I'm not listening to it for content.
Okay.
All right. So the beats are cool. Before I'm
Right.
going to the club, I'm going to listen to trap music. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
But if I want to be nourished musically, am I going to turn on Young Thug? No. Okay? But I think back then, probably, I would say, like there are phases of music. So you had the 90s, and I'm older than y'all, but I'm not that old.
Yeah.
So the 90s, I didn't really listen to a lot of rap in the 90s, but I think that there was more conscious rap back then. Then the 2000s, which is kind of my era, that was I Don't Love Them Hoes era.
Yeah, word.
Right.
And dancing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then now we're still in the I Don't Love Them Hoes era, but it's evolved now, and now it's, trapping and all of that other stuff. So, I don't bash any music or rap.
Okay.
I think it has its place. So I'm not going to be one of those bougie hip hop heads that's like, oh, I hate all music now. No, I like it. Like, I think that there's a time and a place for it. Like I said, if I'm getting hyped, I'm throwing on music from today's time.
That's right.
If I feel like being inspired, or I'm about my business, I might put on some Jay-Z
Okay.
or or even like Rick Ross, like that.
Okay.
That puts me in a boss kind of mood. If I'm thinking I'm trying to be conscious, I'm going old school Kanye a little bit,
Okay.
maybe a little Common, Most Def. So it just depends on my mood.
Are you satisfied with the quality of women rappers, like female rappers right now? You got the Cardi B's, Deja Lo. She made the face.
Dreezy, you got the Dreezys of the world.
I know y'all like Bodak Yellow.
I hate that song, bro.
Let me tell you
The
something.
ladies love Bodak.
Right,
Yellow.
they do.
I love that
They
song
do.
because I really do. It was a great song. Like I said, she took the flow from Kodak Black, which everybody should know. But I feel like she had to come along because, to be real, Nicki was getting just old, man. And she's starting to recycle bars. And you look at just all the other rappers in the game, it's just somebody young that was a female had to come up out of there.
So you don't like Remy Ma?
No, not like
Oh,
that. I
wow.
mean, I just feel like she trying to live off that wave with the Nicki and her beef, and that's so old.
Yeah.
Like, your music should speak for yourself. Don't try to create extra beef, old beef, to try to get your music out there popping. Like, if people rock with you, your music gonna get out there and you can get back popping. But don't use old beef, man. It's just get old. And then Nicki, she recycling bars. She ain't with Safari no more, so her songs ain't what they used to be. So if you look at that situation, that's what I think. And then as far as the state of hip hop right now, I love it. I love 90s hip hop. I love old school 2000s hip hop. I love hip hop right now, especially at the state, because it's so diverse. And like Vashti was saying, if I want to list, I want to be a boss, I'm going to go to Rick Ross. If I want to feel like I'm a trap star, I'm going to go to Thug, Young Dolph. If I want to feel like I'm conscious, I'm going to go to Joey Badass. I'm going to go to J. Cole, Kendrick. It's so many areas you can go and rap. And now that I feel like artists have so much more artistic expression and freedom. Because in the 90s, we couldn't hear, if you weren't signed to a label, we weren't hearing your music.
That's true. That's true.
We weren't. The labels were controlling what we heard, and everything had to be through the radio. Just now, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, where you can go to SoundCloud and I can listen to Amari North. Shout out to my boy Amari North. But you can listen to different artists as well, and they don't have to be on the radio. You can still enjoy their music. Back then, if the artists weren't on the radio, you weren't hearing them. So it's a lot more artistic expression, freedom, and just vibes as well. You can go so many different avenues with music now as well.
I rock with that. But closing out the show, the seat about to get harder for you. All right.
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Got to.
Oh,
Okay. Again, this is no boundaries.
okay.
All right. Sports, entertainment, music, personal stuff.
Okay.
Got
Not too personal, but personal stuff.
All right. I'm an open
Of
book.
course. Hey, you speaking my lingo. You speaking my lingo. Now we're gonna go back to this or that.
Yes.
But this time, instead of, topics, more so people.
Okay.
Men. Mm-hmm. And you'll kind of figure out when I'm gonna throw them at you, all right?
All right.
Trey Songz, Idris Elba.
Idris.
Okay.
She like romance.
yeah, that's okay.
Trey
George.
Songz is, I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, what, he's too
Go
young?
ahead.
I mean, no, he's not too young because he's not as young as people think he is. He just smile.
Oh, you don't like that smile. You like the okay.
He's a little smile guy. I
Okay.
can't do it. Listen, I'm a thick chick. I don't know if y'all can tell. But, I can't do that. He can't do nothing with me.
Okay. Slim build or muscular build?
I guess I have to go with more muscular, but not too not bodybuilder,
Okay.
but kind of like more athletic build.
Right. Like a Cam Newton build.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Cam Newton or Cap. We're not talking about personality. We're talking about look.
Oh, look, that's hard. They about equal to me.
She said that boy Cap pro-black too. So he may get the
I
edge.
mean,
He
listen.
may get that slight edge with the cornrows. He may get the slight edge.
I'm gonna go with Cap only because Cam's style is a little bit too much for me. Like, I appreciate his fashion risk, but I don't want a man who cares about fashion more than I do.
Yeah, he gonna be
That's
trying to look
true.
better
That's
than you
true.
here.
That's
Yeah,
true.
man, come on,
That's
don't try
true.
to.
He gonna try to outdo you. So.
Dang, you about to take my next one. Russell Westbrook fashion sense or Cam's fashion sense?
Oh, I'm going with Cam. Russell a little.
It's on another
I am
wave.
gonna go. Russell a little corny. Sierra has helped him out tremendously, by the way. But I'm gonna go. I gotta go with swag a little more. So fashion wise, I gotta go.
Oh, you
with,
said Sierra. Oh, did I say Wilson? My bad. I meant Westbrook.
Westbrook.
You said Westbrook
yeah.
or Cam. I don't know. That's the same
Russell
person.
be wearing them crop tops.
She said that's the same person.
Yeah, but Russell wear crop tops. I don't think Cam wear crop tops like that.
Crop tops with the capris.
Yeah, with the capri pants.
Westbrook be busting sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Cam.
Okay.
I'ma go with Cam.
Okay. And again, you're single, right?
Yeah.
Complicated.
Oh, it's complicated. It's a
Yeah, that's what she about to
situationship.
say.
It's that fabulous situationship.
Hey, look. She said it's cuffing season. She trying to figure out the moving pieces right now.
You know, it happens. It is cuffing season. I
Yeah.
gotta figure something out. I'm having my draft next week.
Oh, shoot. Dang.
Thanksgiving
That's
coming
crazy.
up. You feel me? She gotta have somebody come to the family with. You know?
Oh, shoot. Okay, dreadlocks or bald head?
Oh gosh, I really can't do the logs.
Why
So,
you think it's too much for you, or?
I don't know. I just don't. I'm just thinking like you laying in the bed and then they be all over the place.
Oh yeah.
So I gotta go with bald
Milk
head.
dud. That's
But
Milk dud.
I prefer some hair. But I mean, if one or the other,
Right.
I gotta go with the lock. I mean, the bald head.
Okay. Bearded or goatee?
I don't know. Beards are real sexy right now. Like
Yeah,
beards are in right now. So I'm gonna go with beards.
Okay. South Carolina men or North Carolina men?
North Carolina.
Oh, that was too easy.
By a long shot.
Goodness gracious, that was too easy.
I'm from South Carolina, so I know both.
I heard they still
Okay.
stuck in 2007.
1957.
Oh shoot, the clear Air Force One. Okay.
The
lights-
the Crispies.
The Crispies.
the all white crispy.
Why you say South Carolina men still stuck in the 50s? Like, is it just?
I think it's culturally. I think the whole environment is a little less progressive than what I've experienced here in Charlotte. So I think that's what it is. I think so. I mean, I don't go back to Columbia that much unless it's for family gatherings and get-togethers. But just from my experience while I was there, I'm a little too much for those. Yeah, too much.
Light skin or dark skin men? It's the
said
hot seat.
cap.
It's the
He
hot.
said
He said
cap,
cap.
so
That
it gotta
is
be
true.
light-skinned brother.
We see where she stand.
You know what I'm saying? She is in the early 2000s.
Well, my boy. Well,
Oh,
You say your man?
your boyfriend?
well,
Your man?
he's dark skinned. I don't like to divide us by complexion.
I
But
feel
everybody has a preference.
Everybody got preference.
Everybody
I
got
don't
preference.
really have a preference in light skinned or dark skinned men. I really
okay.
don't. Like my best friend, dark skinned chocolate all day. I wouldn't. If you had two men who were the exact same and one was dark skinned and one was light skinned,
It wouldn't have made a difference.
It wouldn't have made a difference. It wouldn't have
Okay.
made a difference.
Would you ever date a Caucasian male?
Y'all want the story? Or you just want the short
I
answer?
want the story.
Let me
We
get
got
right.
time.
Hold up. Let me get right.
Yeah, I got time.
Get
Well,
right.
it's not that good now. Well,
Uh-oh.
I have been on a date with a Caucasian guy. I just
The vibe wasn't there.
I mean, he was pretty into me, but there's certain things like being like really close up on my face. Like I need my personal space.
Yeah.
Just like, I think that there are also, you cannot hide cultural differences.
Social
Right.
norms.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just something about my brothers. I'm a black woman who loves black men. So, but the problem is black men don't love us black women back. But that's another show,
Wait.
right?
That's part 2 of the episode. Look.
Yeah.
Look.
And you know what? I can agree with her in certain
See?
parts. I feel like we don't value black women as much as we
Thank
should.
you.
But at the same time, I do think a lot of black women during this
Oh.
generation.
Let
Here
them
we
know.
go.
Let
Here
them
we
know.
They on
go.
another wave.
Let 'em
So,
know.
It goes both. I feel like hand in hand. I feel like black men don't value black women like we're supposed to. And I feel like black women, they on a different wave now with social media and how the culture is right now in 2017 going forward. It's a different wave. Like, you know, it's another show because we can go on so many different avenues with that.
Yes.
But I
Right.
definitely think, you know, it's there, you know.
So somebody's listening or watching right now. They feel like, they ask you for a date, slide in the DMs, whatever the case may be, right? And you say yes. They say, hey, let's meet somewhere I want to cook. What would be the perfect dish to cook, Miss Vashti Hurt?
I don't know.
Jamaican food, oxtail? What the?
See,
That's not her Steve.
Oh, that's not a Steve.
I do like Jamaican food. and I do like oxtails. I'm gonna probably go with steak, like a good ribeye.
Everybody can't cook a steak.
Yeah.
A good ribeye. But see, I'd be apprehensive about letting a guy cook for me anyway.
Why?
I don't know. I just like on a first date, like I'm not. Come on, see, and I've heard like this is what you young guys do. Y'all invite chicks over to your house to cook.
Shoot,
nah, son,
crazy.
you not inviting me over. You not cooking. We going out somewhere. You gonna take me out. We gonna have a proper date before you start inviting me to the crib.
Do you think a date at the movies is one of the worst decisions? I think that's one of the worst things you can take a female.
You can't talk. You can't have no conversation.
You can't.
But are y'all going? If you go to dinner and drinks ahead of time and then go to the movies and
Okay, I see that.
I can understand. I feel like you got to break that barrier. But I think, do you think a first date can involve? You can have a date without involving any types of spending of money.
Yeah.
So somebody can take you somewhere and it can be simple. Maybe what would be that ideal date that you can go to that a guy doesn't have to spend any money on, but it still have that same effect on you. Like, man, he really doing his thing.
Like there are a lot of I will go and I've told people this. You don't have to spend money to have fun. You can go Google like free events around town. Like they used to have like little festivals right downtown at the park.
Yeah,
like you go take your chairs out. If you want to go get a bottle from the liquor store, then that's fine. And you just watch people and you sip, and it didn't cost you anything but a $30 bottle of Crown. Like that's good. That's good times for me.
Yeah. Is that your drink of choice, Crown?
I don't know. I used to,
Try to get past.
I used to be a white girl.
Yeah.
But now that I'm a little more grown, I'm on my brown liquor.
I've been on that brown.
So, yeah, I'd probably say, but I can't, like, Hennessy is a little too for me.
What you mean too much?
I love
Why you
that.
say
Dog.
I need a flavored liquor.
I love that.
Oh,
dog.
okay.
All you got to do is mix cranberry juice, pineapple
Yeah.
juice. If you want to be on another wave, you can
If
add
they
that.
made some flavored Hennessy, I'd be all in. But as of right now, I'm like Crown Apple, Crown Vanilla type
Oh, yeah,
chick.
that's lit, too.
Scenario time. All right, you're on a date. First date with a guy. The check comes. He says, "You mind going half?" What's your reaction?
Well, my last relationship, I actually paid
Really?
What?
on the first date.
Wow.
And it wasn't cheap. Like, we rung up like a $300 bill.
Dang,
Hold
what
on,
y'all with the
hold
roof,
on,
Chris? What y'all?
Hold on.
We went to Sullivan's.
Sullivan's, what's that?
It's kind of like a
steakhouse.
Ruth Chris.
It's
It's
a
a
steakhouse.
steakhouse
Dang.
on South Boulevard, and he was like, he had flown into town to kind of see me, so I felt like it was only right for me to pay for
That's
the date.
1,000.
Dang.
That's
And
1,000.
so I told the waitress, I was like, I went to the bathroom and I told her, like, when you come, just don't even give him the check, give it to me. And we were just ordering food, like you had drinks and we did appetizers and we were just tasting stuff, and it ended up being about a $300 bill.
Dang.
You tricked off on that one.
And I took care of
So
it.
that was a different scenario. It wasn't like, he
that's-
flew in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you invite me on a date and then ask me to go half,
Yeah.
nah, we not going on a second date.
So what would you do if you're like, well, I ain't paying for this bill?
I mean, I may go half, but that's it. Like, to me, that's tacky. Like, if I invite you on a date and I say I'm gonna take you out, then I'm gonna take you out. Like, I don't expect you to pay. Now, if you offer, then that's fine. But for somebody to ask me to go out on a date and then expect me to pay half, no, we got problems.
What is Miss Hurt's biggest relationship advice for any female listening? Like, is it all about communication? What is your
I
thing?
think communication is so cliche.
Right.
You just gotta find you a man who adores you, man.
Worship
Because-
the ground you walk on.
You gotta find you a man who likes you just a little bit more than you like him.
Oh, shoot.
Because women always give more. We're naturally nurturers and givers. So if the man likes you a little bit more, he's always going to be working to make you happy. And as a woman, you're going to reciprocate that because that's who we are as women. So, like, find you somebody who likes you just a little bit more. I got that advice when I was older, and I didn't pay attention to it then. You get wrapped up. Oh, he cute, he fine, or he got a nice car, he got money, and just different stuff
Right.
that you get wrapped up in when you choosing a guy. But just a little bit more.
Okay,
So that way he works hard to make you happy.
Keep you maintained.
two more scenarios, right? You're doing your thing at Charlotte Hornets in the press area, and a younger guy, 21, comes up to you, says, "Excuse me, beautiful. I just haven't seen you in it.
I probably laughed. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish, Josh. I'm sorry, Josh.
That's
Go ahead,
crazy.
finish, Josh. I'm sorry.
So he says, you know, I'm a junior at Wingate University, and shoot, I just, you so attractive, you so gorgeous. I don't want to disturb you or anything like that. I know I see you over here working, but if we can exchange numbers, maybe I can talk to you sometime.
She done got that too many times. I see her face.
Nah, son.
Dang. So you gonna shut down his dreams?
Man, come on, man. 21? Like, no.
It's not.
He said age is number the number.
21?
He said age is number the
there's
number.
nothing he can do for you at that point. Like,
I'm just saying you can't hang with me. Like,
Dang.
first of all, you can barely go to the club. That's number one.
Oh,
like, number two, intellectually, like, you cannot stimulate me mentally.
Facts.
Like, physically, 21,
Whoa.
please. Like,
What 21? They young bucks.
Yeah, they young boys.
yeah, but
They full of energy.
without
Yeah,
getting
but-
too raunchy.
Hey, it's no boundaries. There's no boundaries. It's no
The
boundaries.
young guys are thumpers.
What's that mean?
I know what that means. Basically,
You talking about just bang, 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 go?
They jackrabbits.
Yeah.
They jackrabbits.
Oh, they don't take their time.
Yeah.
They just thumpers. That
She don't need
Dang.
that. Like I said, she grown.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
21, nah. Now, 25, 26, 20, you move on up a little bit. We might have conversations.
She said conversation.
But I can't take you seriously.
Okay.
So how old does a man have to be around that realm to you can actually look at him like, I'm gonna take this man seriously?
I say 28 and up.
28. Okay.
Because he's
28.
more established at that point.
Yeah,
kinda,
you know yourself a little more. You are more hopefully strong in your beliefs and 21, you still learning yourself, really.
Yeah, that's true. That
How?
really is.
What is the age limit for older men?
I don't like old men.
50.
Dang.
No.
40.
So like Peter of Real Housewives of
Oh,
Charlotte, he come up to
God,
you.
no.
If Pete came up to you and said, I want you to come up to the Sports One bar and lounge and just come hang out with me, I just want to give you some drinks, talk to you.
Have
get
good
to know you.
conversation.
Peter can't entertain me.
Oh.
No.
play
All that
PP
gray.
like that?
I don't want to feel like I'm over here with my daddy. Like,
Dang.
no. Oh,
That's
no.
crazy.
I would prefer, I don't even like guys my age, really.
So they really
'Cause
gotta be younger.
they start getting boring. Like, and I still like to do stuff. Like,
So they got to be around that 25 to 28.
25.
well, 25 is a little young, but just like, or even if you're my age or maybe a little bit older, you still gotta have some youthfulness to
Right,
you.
right.
Cause like, if you just want to sit around, I want to go out. Like, say I want to go to Bubble tomorrow, and you're like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to do nothing. Then no, like,
that's
come
not gonna
on,
work.
let's go out, let's do something, let's go
Is
out
that a
of
problem?
town.
Is that a problem you kind of felt that you're dealing with now? Like dealing with men is kind of just that. It's kind of like a gray area right now because you're at the age where you want somebody that's mature, they got this thing going on, but it's a gray area because you still want that youthfulness at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, because usually you have one or the other. Usually have a guy who is just way too grown or way too mature to the fact that to
It's
the
a
point
turn-on.
where they just
Right.
old acting. Or you got guys who still think they young, and I'm like, dude, like you borderline old man in the club. So let's pull
Still
this
going
back.
out to college night Thursdays.
Right? Come on, like that's ridiculous.
College night.
So yeah, it's a fine line, but I think that there are guys out there who manage it well. 30 is a new 20 these days.
That's
Right.
And so, probably back in my age, my mom probably would never be doing the kind of stuff that I'm doing. But
I feel like it's a new era. Like
It
honestly,
is.
and I try to tell my parents that all the time because they're up in their 50s right now. But I be trying to tell them like, 50 is the new 40. Like you can still go
Yeah.
out and do things. And even 30, I feel like this generation is so youthful, and I think we're just not on that same wave that our parents was. And I feel like we really don't want to like. How can I say it? We don't want to get old. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
be
There-
boring.
that-
We don't want
yeah.
to be that boring. Like that's how I am. I don't feel like when I get 30 or 40 years old, I don't want to sit in the house all day, do the same thing on Saturdays,
Right.
cut the grass, watch the kids. Like you want to get out there and explore life because there's so much more to offer. And because we probably seen, people in our family do those things, we don't want to be like that. you know?
right.
Right. Plot twist. You're at the Charlotte Hornets game. You're down there doing your thing, getting audio, getting interviews. An opposing player of the opposite team approaches you. He says, look, I'm very attracted to you, and you're attracted to him. He says, I know you cover this local team and everything, but maybe if I can get your contact information, exchange, and I'll be as professional as possible when, you know, we're in that realm. But I definitely want to take you out and get to know you better. How you reacting?
There's a fine line. As a woman sports reporter, you never want to get that groupie label. And I think that even like Ponder, like Samantha Ponder.
Yeah.
Right.
Like she married Christian Ponder.
Mm-hmm.
And he's I don't know if he's still playing or whatever.
Nah, he's doing it.
But people, like, when she was dating him, like, I would see people calling her a groupie and stuff because she was dating a player. Actually, my ex played in the NFL.
Really?
And so that was always, like, this is, like, now that he's an ex, like, I can say it. But, like, I never told anybody that I was dating an athlete. And I didn't know that he was an athlete when I met him. And when I met him, I was still a stockbroker, so I wasn't doing I wasn't, so I wasn't in the sports realm, but I always kept that quiet because I didn't want to get, and even though we were in full-blown relationship, I didn't want to get that label that, typical sports reporter who dates athletes.
Yeah.
So would you ever date somebody in the public eye that it doesn't have to be sports, but just in the public eye in general?
What do you mean public eye?
Because, you know, like, what's her name? The Warriors sideline reporter, Rosalind.
Yeah.
She dates Drake, or she's been on
she
dates
does?
with Drake. Yeah. And so people kind of saying, even though he's not a sport, you know, a player in sports, but it's still.
I don't know. Possibly. It just really depends.
On the person.
I really think now I want a cornball. I've been saying that.
She said she done had enough athletes.
I think I do.
Everything.
I want a cornball, just somebody who just gonna be like, you it, you know? Because rappers, athletes.
You're doing a lot of competing within
Right.
the relationship.
Yeah,
You did a rapper before?
No.
Oh, I'm about to say, you're going to have to tell us.
I've gone out with rappers, like just like to the club and stuff.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead and say it.
Back in the UNC Charlotte days?
Listen, man.
Oh, hold on.
shoot,
Now.
wait.
This
Hold
is pre-social media. Things used to.
Oh, shoot.
We used to hang.
Lil Jon Eastside Boy?
You trying it
No,
right
no,
now?
I'm
Josh.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
So who was it?
Who was it?
No, never. Like,
It's no boundaries. It's a
it
safe
is
haven.
boundaries where I'm not going. A
she ain't
lady
gonna-
never
Hey.
talks.
That's facts.
crazy.
That's facts.
But it was like, honestly, back then when I was in college, like it would be, it's not any, I've been in VIPs partying with LeBron James back in the
Really?
day, and he was in the club with his shirt off going in. Like, this was like Allen Iverson. These are people who used to go to the clubs and just be around everybody because
That's how
there
it works.
wasn't the threat of,
Yep.
Camera,
Smartphones.
you know,
somebody,
Yep.
smartphones
Exactly.
and people taking pictures and stuff. So there's a spot right up here, Mythos. It's not Mythos anymore. And then Mythos and Varga all the time used to jump. And so
Dang.
like all of these people who, you know, are on these pedestals now, they were able to just be regular people.
Right.
So you can be in VIP and just be toasted and like, oh, what up, dude? You know, and just
Dang.
it was just a cooler environment.
Something just tells me that it has to be a crunk rapper. It can't be like one of those crunk rappers back in that era, like a Youngbloods. Okay.
No, it wasn't no Youngbloods. You're not gonna get it out of me.
Dang.
But
we in
yeah.
that realm.
Yeah.
Because it can't be no backpack rapper, no conscious rapper. Ain't
No, it
nobody-
wasn't. No, it was definitely
Yeah.
somebody who got the club going.
Dang. You said take the club up.
Got the club going.
I thought you talking about 3-6 Mafia. Wait a minute. Hold up now.
I do
Dang.
like 3-6 Mafia though. They're one of my favorite like
Rap groups.
ratchet rap groups.
Dang. That is crazy. So, like you said, the player that you dated on the Panthers was a linebacker.
No, I didn't date a player on the Panthers.
Oh, what team did he
What
play
team would he
for?
play for?
Not telling, but he
Oh,
definitely didn't play for the Panthers.
You give us the division. NFC South?
NFC South, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the
I
Saints
already
player.
know
It was
who
Saints.
I already know it.
You
No,
do?
It was Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay?
Florida area. Yep.
Oh,
What I
shoot.
say? I already know Florida. I just had a feeling.
We're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to talk after this.
Yep.
Boy,
No, we won't.
Oh, my God.
Shoot. That's crazy.
Yo, that's an exclusive. I've never told anybody that.
For
But
real?
now that it's over and it's recently over,
Oh,
I can
wow.
kind of
Yeah.
Oh, so it was recently over. I'm thinking
I'm
this is
throwing some, like maybe a year
no,
ago.
like months.
Oh yeah, so that's
wow.
still fresh on you. That's still fresh. Why'd y'all break up?
I know firsthand the struggle of guys transitioning from being in the NFL to regular life, and it's really hard. And so it's really tough on him. And he kind of, like, it's real.
You're going through some things.
You go, and some people want to go through things, and they push people away. And I think that's kind of what happened.
Yeah,
and that CTE and those mood swings and all that stuff is real. Like, people have no idea. When I have a child, I have a son, I will not allow my son to play football.
What?
Because I've seen firsthand, like, just the physical toll, the mental toll, everything. It's not worth it.
And not only that, I think a lot of, and like I said, I had this talk with my brother all the time. And he coaches it. Well, he helps assist coach at UNC Charlotte. And he said the biggest thing is that a lot of football players, once those years are over, they don't know their identity as a person.
They don't. I mean, they've always been the football player.
You've always been that star football player in your town, your city. And once that lifestyle is over, they don't know how to transition over to, okay, if his name's Jamal, I'm Jamal, and I love to work with kids, or I love to do banking and things. They're not set up for life after. And that comes with depression. That comes with so many other things that people don't know about. And I feel like with even black males that's in the profession, whether it be football, basketball, I feel like you can't make a sport your whole life because the sport doesn't make you, you make it. So I think I could definitely understand where you're coming through. You probably had to deal with so many things that people behind the scenes couldn't see.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, and also being a sports reporter, it gives me another perspective on these guys and what they go through. And I think that's why I can be more sympathetic and understanding when I report the news. Not only because I'm coming from a different perspective as a black woman, but I'm also coming from a perspective of someone who lived life with an athlete and understands what they go through on a daily basis.
Man, I have so many questions I want to ask, but I'm not going to do it. You off the hot seat. You off the hot seat. Look, I appreciate on our first ever podcast episode. You gave us an exclusive right there, too.
Yeah, that was great.
Look, it's been a great time. I honestly appreciate it. I mean, we're going to do our last thing just to close out, closing thoughts, which is a bold prediction about, it can be anything from sports to saying Trump about to be impeached 2 months down the road, whatever the case is, a bold prediction. And so we're going to start with you, Kelly, on your bold prediction.
My bold prediction for the NFC championship, I got the Eagles losing. To who? I don't know. I think they're going to make it. I think this year, being undefeated and how that defense is played so aggressive and that offense has so many weapons. Then they just added, I forgot the running back they just added from Miami. So they just added him.
Jay.
Yeah, so they just added him as well. So I got those guys going to the NFC championship, but losing. To who? I don't know. And matter of fact, I'm going to give a bold prediction. I think the Carolina Panthers, they make it to the NFC championship.
My bold prediction has to do with the Hornets. I think Dwight Howard will be an all-star this year.
What?
Listen.
What you smoke before you get
Have y'all seen his stats so far? 20 and 15, 25 and 17, 28 and 12. I mean, goodness gracious. He's going crazy.
Do you think it's because he doesn't have as much pressure on him?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why. Yeah, definitely. He's going to use that
He's flying under the radar, and he can just play his game. When he was in L.A., it was pressure. When he went to Atlanta,
Houston,
it was
pressure
hometown.
too.
Yeah, Houston and Atlanta, he's back in his hometown. Now he's in a city that's a little bit smaller, can be manageable. There's not as much pressure on him. So I like that bold prediction.
Exactly.
Y'all want me? Y'all didn't even tell me I had to give a bold prediction.
You got to come from your soul. You got to come from your soul.
I don't know, y'all. I think Clemson could take this L to NC State.
I like that.
I really do.
That.
I think Clemson could possibly take this L to NC State. So
Score?
No, you're not going to catch me
I'm
on
going
that
to give
one.
a score right now. I'm going to give a score right now. I think Clemson's going to get them right now 34-21. 34. I feel like right now with Clemson defense is stifling. And a lot of things that NC State likes to do on offense is get Jalen Samuels and Nyheim Hines out in space. And I feel like with the athletes Clemson has and the defensive front, it's going to cause their quarterback to force a lot of things he doesn't want to. So I got 34-21, and I feel like Clemson's offense is going to spread them out. And like 21 said, they're going to pull up and air it out. You know what I'm saying?
He said pull up and air it out.
Pull up and air it out.
I appreciate it. Look, We got to have you back again. You know that, right?
Of course. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
For that part 2. Now, I appreciate you coming again. No Boundaries, episode 1, beautifully done. Thank you again to my boy Kimji behind the camera, A1 with it. Of course, we got to shout out Mario Washington, Jasmine Sullivan, Good Old Boys Network. And of course, you can catch this podcast on SoundCloud, Good Old Boys Network, and of course on YouTube at Scope TV. We out. God bless.
Thank you.